We want to make sure that during these times of uncertainty, everyone feels as closely connected as possible. So, we're giving you guys a little bit of something to serve as entertainment. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Peace.
Hello and welcome to the Keystone 5. Today we will be interviewing Scott Tucker. He started going to the club at the age of 6. He graduated from the University of Alabama. Since graduation, he has worked at the Boys and Girls Club. During his time at the Boys and Girls Club, he has had many roles. His favorite was a camp counselor at Camp Jimmy Goodwin. He currently serves as the Vice President of Operations.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Keystone 5 interview. Today we have Mr. Scott Tucker. And Scott, I want to start the interview. How did the Boys and Girls Club help you achieve your goals?
You know, I'm a club kid like you are, Khalil. I started the club when I was 6 years old. And, the club's taught me quite a bit. The biggest thing that it's helped me with my goals is it taught me that I've got to work for what I get. Nobody's going to give me anything. So I learned at the Boys and Girls Club that if I work hard, I can achieve a lot.
Those are some good values that a lot of kids need these days. With the coronavirus and COVID-19 pandemic going on, a lot of kids are stuck at home. And I know if I was a kid today, I would be bored out of my mind. So how have you kept productive over this quarantine?
Well, I'm still with the Boys and Girls Club, so we meet with our team every day. It's given us a chance to learn about each other as far as work goes. I've learned a lot about my peers, my co-workers. I've learned that your old unit director once was a rapper. She went by Velociraptor. Rapper, sorry. It was a shock to all of us, but we have learned a lot. We've grown closer to each other, and the same with my family. We have, it's a tough time for a lot of people, but we've gotten to spend a lot of quality time, and we, on good days, we choose to look at the positives of what this has done for us. But we're like anybody; we're ready to get out of the house and get back to work.
Yeah, getting out of the house is a lot of people's first goal in mind. And I know as an athlete, I have been trying to come up with anything that I can do to either stay in shape or just stay active in general, because that's what the Boys and Girls Club really taught me, that being active was important. I know you have had an athletic experience. What was your favorite one while at the Boys and Girls Club?
My favorite athletic experience at the Boys and Girls Club, I was around 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old. I was on a travel basketball team. We went up to the Huntsville Boys and Girls Club. I was not very good. Most of the people on the team were 2 years older than me, so I was kind of just on the team. A couple people had fouled out. They sent me in at the end of the game, and there was like a couple seconds left. We were down by 1 point. I went in and tried to guard the biggest guy. He tossed me across the gym. They called a foul. I got a 1-and-1. So if I hit the shot, exactly, and the ball was bigger than I was, I banked one in to send the game into overtime. Did not hit the second shot to win the game. But sad, that's probably my best memory as a athlete at the club.
Yeah, I think a lot of athletes that have been to the club can relate to that story, especially with how competitive our basketball leagues are. What habits do you keep that keep you self-disciplined?
I think it goes back to hard work. What you put in is what you get out most of the time. Like you, Khalil, and since I know you fairly well, everybody thinks they're competitive, but I know I am. I know you are, and I know you have a temper. And I've had problems with that also. So I need somebody to remind me, I don't want you to say it's just a game, but it's not enough I want people to like me after the game.
Yeah.
So that's something I actually learned at the Boys and Girls Club, and you might want to share your experience. I hope that's something that you've learned.
Yeah, I've had my fair share of temper tantrums from any athletic experience, whether that be coaching or being on the field or court myself. I can remember the countless times on the soccer field where I would have like 3 goals in the game and we would be blowing the other team out, and I get a hard foul and I just like take exception to it, and I'd start either talking trash or pushing back. And I had multiple counselors in my days, like, you know, we're up in the game, like they're not doing that on purpose, they're just being competitive like you. And I really had to learn that my discipline was going to come from respecting my opponent and knowing that they're trying their best too.
If you stay focused, and it's good to be competitive, but if you go too far, people won't let you in their house.
The Boys and Girls Club, I know for a lot of people, just like me and you, have changed our lives and taught us a lot of things, like the lessons that you were talking about earlier. So what are some lessons did you learn from the Boys and Girls Club that you immediately put into action when you set out into the workforce?
Well, the hard work thing's been a constant, but I think I'm like a lot of people. I didn't do everything right. I made a lot of mistakes, but Boys and Girls Club taught me, along with my parents, that if I make mistakes, I own up to them, and you know, I change. I can be a better person. And if you combine that with hard work and being willing to admit when you're wrong, you can do a lot of good things. And I hope I've done some good things, and the small little part I've had to do with your life, I'm real proud of you.
Thank you. I'm glad to have someone like you to guide me during those challenging times when I was having my tempers and and things like that.
Yeah, well, the thing with you always was that I knew where your heart was. And when you threw those little temper tantrums, I knew when the temper tantrum was over what you were about. So those 2 minutes that you went a little nuts doesn't override the fact of who you are. And it's been good to see who you are blossom into what it has. And, you know, I hadn't played gym hockey with you in a while, so I haven't seen the temper, but I'm hoping it's gotten a little more in check, because if not, you need therapy.
I think it's gone down a little bit, especially with being a coordinator. You learn a lot about the other side of like, dang, like, why is this kid acting like that? And then I think back to, oh, I did the same exact thing. So it's a big perspective change. That is going to conclude this interview for the Keystone 5. I'm glad that everybody tuned in, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you, Scott Tucker, for joining us on this interview, and see you, everybody.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Thank you for watching the Keystone 5. Here at the Keystone 5, we are dedicated to encouraging youth and leading them to their highest potential. We do this by having engaging interviews like the ones that you just saw, and also asking questions that teens actually want answered.
Hello, and thank you for watching the Keystone 5. If you liked it, which I'm pretty sure you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.